This is Michael Cohen, host of the Mea Culpa podcast and author of Disloyal, the #1 New York Times best-selling memoir about my time working for Donald Trump as both his fixer and personal attorney. I'm proud to announce my latest release, Mea Culpa, the election essays, available for the Amazon Kindle. It promises to be the definitive political document of the 2020 election and a snapshot of an incredibly dark 50 days in the run-up to the most divisive election in modern history. It's 15 chapters of concise political analysis that gets you inside the head of Donald J. Trump, from the man who knew him best. So get your copy now of Mea Culpa, the election essays, and get informed.
Today on Paternity Court.
Does DeMarcus Jr. call Mr. Patterson daddy?
Yeah.
Does he call you daddy too?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Lord.
When the baby was born, he said, I don't want no DNA test. Name the baby DeMarcus Jr. That's what you said.
You signed the birth certificate
Yes, Your Honor, I signed the birth certificate.
willingly.
I've been there since birth. I became someone's father.
I was in love with him. He denied the DNA test. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go with it.
It could possibly be his. It could possibly be yours.
I know this is hard.
I'm hurt about it.
The love that I have for him is the same love that he has for me.
So this is a tangled web. DJ is caught up in it. Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Patterson versus Knight.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Patterson, you opened your case today to prove that you are 4-year-old DeMarcus Patterson Jr.'s biological father. You named him and have cared for your junior since birth and are furious the defendant now claims another man is his father. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Knight, you testify that even though your son has Mr. Patterson's name, it does not change the fact that you are unsure he is DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father and another man could be. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Patterson, you testify you've been there since day one. Please explain.
I've been there since birth, since he came out the womb, since he entered this world. When the doctor first, held him up and finally gave him to him, I witnessed him just completely quit crying and looked me dead in my eyes. And that's when, at that moment, I knew I became someone's father. So at that moment, all the doubts that we had before, I just knew they were just out the window and just it was going to leave us a happy family. But
it didn't happen that way.
Not exactly.
And when that baby came into the world, you were there to receive him. You gave him your name.
Yes, Your Honor.
But now there's doubt as it relates to the mother. So, Ms. Knight, you contend that Mr. Patterson is not DeMarcus's biological father?
I let DeMarcus know when I got pregnant that there was a possibility that I could be pregnant by someone else.
So you were honest from the start?
From the beginning, yes.
Do you remember this conversation, Mr. Patterson?
Yes, Your Honor, in a way. When she first told me she was pregnant, that's when we was I guess you could say doing the house hopping thing. Cause in order
doing the what?
The house hopping thing. Because when she moved out of her parents' house, she ain't had nowhere to go, so let her live there too.
That's how we started our relationship. We were together every day since then. DeMarcus ended up cheating on me within the time we were together, and I ended up leaving with Ladarius, the alleged father, and basically we didn't work out at all. So I called DeMarcus to let him know, hey, I could be pregnant by Ladarius and you, and DeMarcus was like, well, I want to be with you, and that's where it went.
That day that she left, I ain't hear from her for a month or two.
So wait, you're saying she just left the house and you didn't hear from her for a month or two?
Yeah, I was supposed to pick up from work, but my grandma made me feel worse about it because she was like, she knew she was too fast for me anyways, but I'm just going by what
so
we both
Miss
know.
Knight, where did you go? What is going on here?
I decided to leave because I wasn't over the fact that he cheated on me with this female. So, yeah, I did that. But I found out I was pregnant while I was with Ladarius.
Okay, I want to go step by step because I want to understand. When you left, you ended up with Mr. Siegler.
Right.
Which is the other possible father.
Right. We ended up having protected sex that night, and then we ran out of condoms, and while we were doing it, I told him to go ahead and get me pregnant. That's what I told him. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I called DeMarcus and let DeMarcus know, I'm pregnant right now, and it's a possibility that it's Ladarius' baby or your baby. DeMarcus told me to come home.
So you got back together with Mr. Patterson.
Because me and Ladarius were like oil and water, and we could not do it. So I told and begged DeMarcus. I didn't beg him. I said, DeMarcus, come get me. And DeMarcus pulled up in the car and was like, where's your stuff? He carried my stuff on his back and got in the car, and we went on about our way. Him knowing that I could be pregnant by somebody else, he was okay with the situation.
And at this point, you're testifying that you believed he was the father based upon the time frame.
I believed it was a possibility.
So take me to the day you actually gave birth. Who was there? What happened?
DeMarcus was there. He was there when my water broke. We woke him up, said, baby, my water broke. Time to go to the hospital. He hopped up. All right, let's do this. So we was in the hospital that whole day. Had the baby. He didn't get to cut the umbilical cord because the doctor took it upon himself to cut it.
Yeah, he did
But
do that.
that was it. When he had the baby, DeMarcus looked over, said, that's my baby. We ain't naming him no Christian. We naming him DeMarcus Patterson.
Did you say that, Mr.?
That ain't exactly how it happened.
How'd it go?
When I looked the baby in the eyes, I was like, dang, he just completely be quiet, just quit crying, everything, like he was at peace. Then I looked at her, and that's when the doctors left the room. She was like, what name should we give him? I was like, oh, no. She said, I always wanted a junior, and I was like, you'll do that? And then that's when the name came about, DeMarcus Latarius Patterson Jr.
Well, when you tell this woman I've always wanted a junior.
He ain't say that.
I ain't really get to pick the name because, remember, it's always up to the woman to pick the name.
Please.
You gonna put whatever.
DeMarcus said, I don't care what you think. This is my baby, and we're naming him DeMarcus Latarius Patterson Jr.
If she named him DeMarcus Latarius Patterson Jr.,
well,
you
know
definitely had to agree to that. So you signed the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor, I signed the birth certificate.
Willingly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Without a doubt at that time, you went on and signed it?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, I was going to do the DNA test.
Okay,
and I looked at him, and then that's when I threw the DNA test out the picture.
At that moment, DeMarcus said, that is my baby. His name is going to be DeMarcus Latarius Patterson Jr. And I don't care what y'all got to say, and that's what it was.
But if you know the real truth, and you know that he might not be the biological father, why give in to the name and name this child after him,
because
knowing that there's a possibility?
I was in love with him. We were together all the time. I mean, he demanded it, that's what he wanted. He denied the DNA test. So I'm like, you know what? Sure.
We're going to roll with this.
Let's go with it.
This is a call from an inmate at the Indiana State Prison.
My name is Phil Chalmers, and I'm a serial killer profiler.
How many murders are you responsible for?
36. 47 to 52.
I found Sister's killer.
I want to see him face to face.
Listen to Where the Bodies Are Buried, a true crime podcast on the iHeartRadio app, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
In my heart, I so solemnly wanted it to be DeMarcus's baby.
Right. And in your young mind, this is how you clean up this whole mess. And so in the last 4 years, has Mr. Patterson been there for DeMarcus?
He's been there.
He has. Does DeMarcus Jr. call Mr. Patterson daddy?
Yeah.
At what point did you realize that it wasn't all working out, that it really could potentially be the other man's child?
Well, it was a conversation between me and DeMarcus we had often. I mean, DJ turned about 3 months, and I looked at him one time, and I was like, wow, he kind of looked like Ladarius.
Oh, so you all were open about this?
Yes, we were always open. We would take rides to the gas station. He'd show me pictures of Ladarius. Like, you sure this ain't that? You sure this ain't that?
I ain't gonna lie. First,
and we were open about it. Very open about it.
I started seeing his ears slant out, and I was like, hold up, just like, I don't know, though.
But he's 4 now.
He's 4 now, so I look at
and
it now.
And the conversation about DNA tests, this is not the first time I brought it up. I done set appointments. No one wants to help me with half the payment.
I help you with that. Now, it's just, I know you're evil. If they say that I don't get to take my name off or have a DNA test, you'll put me on child support if you could. I'm
Look,
being real.
you know it's a possibility that you're the father, and Ladarius knows a possibility that's the father, and ain't none of y'all giving me nothing anyway, so you think you don't deserve to go on it?
I bought his first pair of sneakers. I buy him everything. You can't say
when I ask DeMarcus to do something, he will. When I asked, but the only reason why he stopped doing the things, like he used to come in and just do it without me having to ask, but because I chose to allow Felicia and Ladarius in his life, DeMarcus told me, I'm going to go ahead and take a step back and let Ladarius step in since that's his dad.
I ain't say that now.
Yes,
if I said that,
did.
I was just talking.
Now, he still say that.
Felicia, hold on. You gestured and said you decided to let Felicia, that is your witness here.
My godmama.
That's Mr. Sigler's mother.
Right.
So that's the other guy's mother.
Right.
And so you said Miss Sigler is your godmother.
Right.
So the other possible father is your god brother?
Right.
Oh.
Ladarius.
Why are you making this look bad?
Lord, you decided to let her and the other guy in DeMarcus Jr.'s life as well. So you didn't want either guy to be left out until you knew for sure?
I guess. I mean,
That's crazy.
look, my godmama ended up sending me pictures of it, and me and DeMarcus actually was in the same vehicle at the same time when she sent this one picture. And I looked at DeMarcus, he looked at me and was like, yo, that's DeMarcus,
and
that's
you
DJ
submitted
family.
that picture to the court.
Right.
Let's take a look at that. This is a picture of Miss Sigler as a baby.
It's the other one. That didn't do much for me. The other one did.
And this is DeMarcus Jr.
Right. That's the one she sent me, and me and DeMarcus sat in the car and was like, that's DJ.
And when you saw those pictures,
that's
you
when
felt like...
when I really started letting him in DJ's life. That's when Mama came and got him every other day when she can, or when I needed her to. He'll go pick him up, drop him off over there. All that. We are a big, happy family. I don't know why you pretend.
Oh, so this is a whole village.
Hey, to be honest,
no, I'm serious.
Hey.
We eat this together as a family and all.
All of you all
right.
together.
We never had no problem. The reason why in my head I strongly wanted DeMarcus to be the biological father was because they told me I got pregnant August 28th through the 2nd. Or the 3rd of September. I was with DeMarcus August 28th, but by the 2nd of September, I was with Ladarius. So I didn't know. I honestly did not know.
So it was crazy. That soon after.
Don't act like it's crazy. You knew.
Before we go any further, I think it's time I hear from Mr. Sigler. Jerome, can you please escort Mr. Sigler into the courtroom?
Yes.
Thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure.
As you are aware, we are discussing the paternity of DeMarcus Patterson Jr., a young boy who has Mr. Patterson's name, but could potentially have your DNA.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe you are DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
You do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why do you believe that?
In the midst of me and Kaylin having dealings or intimacy, I was the one who told her she was pregnant. And when I told her she was pregnant, she said, well, if you feel like that, take me to the clinic. So I did. So when we got back from that situation, we had conflict. She like, it could possibly be his. It could possibly be yours. So therefore now, like she say, all in water.
You weren't a part of the pregnancy.
No, ma'am.
You weren't there for the birth.
No, ma'am.
So when did you learn that you were, in fact, potentially DJ's biological father?
Okay, prior to that picture right there, I seen him probably a week before that picture. And he was 3 months old when I first met DeMarcus. He was 3 months. So I did gain attachment to him as well, but I understood the situation. It come down to, is this baby? We want to know, he want to know, he need to know, we need to know. Before it get any farther, get out of hand, I don't want him growing up because he do know both of us. He do look at both of us like fathers.
Does he call you daddy too?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Lord. So the child is calling two men daddy.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. DeMarcus, I don't care how he acted. After this, when you find out he ain't the daddy, he ain't going nowhere.
She thinks that, man.
Listen, I want to know from Mr. Sigler, what are your hopes, sir? Do you hope DeMarcus Jr. is your biological child?
The love that I have for him is the same love that he have for me. Mm-hmm. I know one thing about this young man. If don't nobody else love me, he gonna love me.
And so, Mr. Patterson, I have to ask you, how do you feel knowing that your son is calling another man daddy too?
Be honest, I used to think about it hard back in the days, but it's her mess. She got to clean it up. That's what we're here for today, you know?
It's all of your mess.
Yeah.
Because if you're not the father, this 4-year-old young boy has your name. And if you are the father, he's still calling Mr. Sigler daddy too, and would presumably miss his presence in his life if Mr. Sigler decided he no longer wanted to be a part of his life. So this is a tangled web here, and DJ is caught up in it. With that said, I think it's time we get the results. Jerome? Before I open this envelope, are you ready for this? Have you prepared yourself?
No, ma'am.
So you being honest, Mr. Sigler.
I'd rather step out.
You just really feel that strongly that you want the baby to be yours.
Yeah.
I won't make you wait any longer. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Patterson versus Knight, pertaining to whether Mr. Patterson or Mr. Sigler is the biological father of 4